So, Brother Roland, you are no stranger at all to legacy-minded men. How do I know that? Because some years ago, when we had some local live breakfasts, which we sadly do not, I miss those times. We don't do it anymore because we branched out, as Craig explained to you. We now provide content to global groups all over the world. And that's a great privilege that we do. So our format is different today. But when we were a little smaller, we did nice, cozy breakfasts locally for men. And Brother Roland came and he shared basically what I'm going to ask him to share, in bits and pieces as we go along. But it was a great time. So he's no stranger to legacy-minded men. And officially speaking now, Brother Roland, welcome to Kneeling Warriors.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So let's start here in perhaps a short version. How did you come to Christ, Brother Roland?
That's a good question. I grew up in the beautiful country of Paterson, New Jersey. It's not a country, but it's a part of New Jersey, a city that I was born in. I come from a Muslim background through my dad. My dad was a Sunni Muslim of the school of Hanifi. I attended the oldest registered mosque in the state of New Jersey when I was a young man. Now, I want to make it clear, I never really considered myself a true Muslim. I was a Muslim when it was convenient. I never said the Shahada. Shahada is the Muslim profession of faith. I never, really practiced Islam except during the holidays, but I did participate in the prayers, the Jummah service on Fridays. Really, I was raised by my grandfather, Haji Umar. I spent a lot of time with him. We actually slept in the same room when I was a little boy up until I was a teenager. In our culture, our grandparents sometimes are more closer to us than our parents are. I guess in my culture, we respect our elders. We take care of them when they get older. The thought of sending them out of the home to a facility, it's almost unheard of. So anyway, I grew up in the city of Paterson, and back then, and again, if I say anything right now that's offensive to anybody, please forgive me, but I want to give a synopsis of how I came to Christ. Back in the 1960s, we had a lot of racial tension in Paterson. There was a lot of fights, a lot of what they call white flight, people leaving the city. I just remember a lot of broken glass. I remember a lot of graffiti and being chased to school. And it was not a comfortable time. So we're going to fast forward. I'm going to keep the short version. I was in high school now. In high school, we had, again, it was a lot of racial tension. It was a lot of fights that happened. It wasn't your normal high school where it was joyous and people had a good time. It just was a high school where you had to almost posture yourself and walk around like you were not going to let anybody take advantage of you. I remember in high school, we had gangs, and I had an altercation with this gang member, and he threatened me, and he told me what he was going to do to me. Like I said before, I was a Muslim and it was convenient. Well, when he sent a message what he was going to do to me, I sent him a message back what me and my Muslim brothers were going to do to him. So to me, Islam was a strong religion. It was a form of protection. Now, my father was a Sunni Muslim, but my mother was a Roman Catholic. Now, we never practiced Catholicism, and we never went to Catholic church. But I remember as a teenager, I didn't know anything about Christianity, very, very little, a vague idea about who Jesus was. I remember going to a get-together one time in the Hujjah. Now, I'm going to use Turkic terms. I don't speak Arabic. Actually, 85% of the Muslim world does not speak Arabic. So anyway, we have what they call an imam, but in our language, we call Hujjah, or actually, we do call him, we could call him imam as well, but in the Turkish language, it's called Hujjah. And whenever a Hujjah walked by, and even an elder used to stand in reverence until they walked by, and then you sat back down again. But I remember getting to a get-together, and the Hujjah said, in the Christian religion, it says if someone strikes you on the cheek, you're supposed to take it and turn the other side and say, hit me over here. Well, that wasn't a very appealing message, especially to a young teenager. But he said in Islam, we're allowed to give an answer. So the interpretation of that was you're allowed to defend yourself. That was appealing to me. Again, my concept of growing up was, and I didn't do either of these things, but if I didn't eat pork and I didn't eat meat on Good Friday, I was going to heaven, or I might go to heaven. So again, in Islam, you have scales. Providing your good outweighs your bad, you can get to Jannah you can get to heaven. But if your bad outweighs your good, you can go to Gehenna, hell. So I remember, again, something happened to me, like you're talking about Christmas miracles. I remember working at a restaurant at 17 years old. And at the end of the shift, we were cleaning and somebody brought in liquor. So, I was drinking, and Christmas was not a joyous time in my house. Now, you probably heard about the Holy Wars or the Crusades. Well, you want to see a Holy War, you come to my house, especially during Christmas time. It was not a good time. My father would say, why are we celebrating this holiday? We're Muslims, and we superficially celebrated Christmas, but we didn't know the meaning behind it. We had a Christmas tree. Again, I'm not a full-fledged Muslim here, but at the same time, we also celebrated all the Muslims' holidays, what we call Ramazan Bayram and what we call Qurban Bayram. Qurban means holiday of sacrifice.